guys, today is going to be slightly different. I'm going to do a review for you of my Cake Safe. So I did not buy a Cake Safe until I had my first accident. Thankfully, that accident occurred while delivering a cake for a styled shoot, and it wasn't anyone's wedding or party, and I was able to fix it enough that you couldn't really tell for the photos, but it left me traumatized. All I could think about was, what if that had been someone's wedding or someone's extravagant birthday cake? And I came home, I think the next day, and bought a Cake Safe. I did manage to find this one on their scratch and dent section of the website, so it was slightly discounted, but it is completely, totally functional. There's nothing wrong with it. It just has a minor cosmetic scratch on this side, which I don't care about. So I think there are two major pros when it comes to using a Cake Safe. Number one, it's gonna keep your cake basically chilled like it was in the fridge all the way until the time that you get to the venue. And number two, it is virtually impossible for the cake to be ruined during transit. So let me show you how it works, because I think all these components kind of come together to yield this beautiful, fantastic product. So it has these 4 side panels that all come apart. They are all double paned, so there's a little bit of insulation between the 2 panels so that is what keeps your cake chilled during transit. And then all the panels are connected to each other with these rods. The rods are threaded on the end, so when they drop through these little holes, they actually screw into the bottom. So this box becomes completely safe and secure. Then the other really cool component is this metal dowel that goes all the way through the cake. So once you have your cake chilled and you put it inside, it doesn't even have to be totally centered. It can be slightly off center, it doesn't matter. Then you just ram this rod all the way through the cake and it comes out the bottom of the box. And then in theory, you can tip over your cake and it will stay completely as it was when you put it in. I say in theory, I've seen people do this on the internet, but I am not brave enough to try it myself. But you get the idea. It's really, really fantastic. So this is the first Cake Safe that I bought. This is the mini tall. The interior dimensions are 14 by 22. You really don't want to put a cake in here that's taller than 21 inches, because then you kind of get into some sketchy territory up here with it touching the top. But essentially that would be a 12-inch cake on the bottom on a 14-inch cake base. I also have the next size up. Oh, another point, this weighs about 11.5 pounds. So it does increase the weight of your cake. So if you have a bad back, I would definitely recommend investing in a cart, because you can just set this on the cart and wheel it around. The larger Cake Safe that I have is their small tall. It is the same height as this one, but it's a little bit wider. The interior dimensions are 17 by 17. So you can put a slightly wider cake in there, and it does weigh 4 more pounds than this. So it's 15.5 pounds. So the last time I used that, I had a massive cake in there. I actually had to recruit my husband to come on the delivery with me because I couldn't physically lift the cake in the Cake Safe by myself. So I needed an extra set of hands for that one. So I remember the first time I ever used my Cake Safe, I was excited, but also kind of nervous just because it was new. The venue was 2 hours away, so it was in the car for 2 hours. And then when I arrived, it had a gravel driveway, so lots of bumps and dips, and I was kind of frightened. But then when I pulled it out, it was absolutely perfect. It was still well chilled, and the only thing I could think of was, why didn't I get one of these sooner? And then so eventually, a couple months later, I did buy a second Cake Safe, because why not have more than one? I will say we are DIY people. My husband's an engineer, he's very smart and can design a lot of things. And so before I purchased, I was like, hey, do you think it's worth it to buy this? Because it's kind of expensive. And just looking at all of the individual components, the double paned walls, the threaded rods, this super heavy duty stainless steel dowel, he was like, by the time I buy all this stuff to make that for you, it's gonna be way more expensive than just buying the Cake Safe. So I waited till I found one that was on sale for the scratch and dent, bought it, and then I did the same thing with buying my second one. I just kind of was lurking all the time to see when they'd have another one that was on sale, because I'm also kind of frugal and I love a good deal. Like I said, I kind of considered a DIY version, having my husband build it. I found some things online that other people had done that I thought, oh, that might be able to work. But the thing I really like about this is that it's reusable, and I'm not using a cardboard box that's gonna put wear and tear on itself and only last through several deliveries. In fact, I can't even count the number of times I've used this and it is exactly like it was the day that it arrived. In the event you do lose a piece or something breaks, they sell replacement parts, so you wouldn't have to buy a whole new cake safe just because you maybe left one of these rods behind at a venue or something like that. I don't think delivering a wedding cake will ever be stress-free because this is the most important day of someone's life, but I will say that having this cake safe in the back of my car eliminates a lot of stress for me. I don't have to worry about other drivers on the road as much as I did previously, and a pothole here and there isn't gonna make a difference when I've got my cake in this. It's definitely a conversation starter. Every time I make a delivery, I have at least one person that asks me about it. And then recently I got a random email from CakeSafe just asking for feedback, and I sent back a short little email basically just saying that I love it and I preach about how wonderful it is all the time. And she said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Would you like to be an affiliate?" And I said, "Absolutely." So if you are thinking about getting a CakeSafe and there's not one on the scratch and dent section, I do have an affiliate link that you can use for a slight discount, and that's in the description box below. If you have been considering getting a CakeSafe but have been hesitant for whatever reason, hopefully my little tour of my CakeSafe helps you answer those questions. If you have other questions or maybe something I didn't address, just leave it in the comments below and I'll get back to you. Until next time, see you later. Good one.